Hello, everyone. This week's service is our third in our month's theme of mission and vision. Today's service centers on a vision of the future and its possibilities. I'm going to start with some opening words called Invoking the Past, Present, and Future. Come, let us enter this space of hope and community. Come, let us enter this space with our sorrows, our joys, our passion, and compassion. Come, let us enter this space with the stories of our ancestors, for their strength and wisdom beats in our hearts. Come into this space, present to the beloved companions who move beside us. Come into this space, mindful that together we are building a future for other generations. Come into this space and let us worship. I am now going to light the chalice in front of me. If you have a chalice or candle at home you wish to light, you may do so as well. This light we kindle is set in the lamp of our history. We inherit this free faith from the brave and gentle, fierce and outspoken hearts and minds that have come before us. Let us be worthy inheritors of this faith, and through our good works, pass it boldly to a new generation. Our first reading is Community Means Strength by Starhawk. We are all longing to go home to some place we have never been, a place half remembered and half envisioned, we can only catch glimpses of from time to time. Community. Somewhere there are a people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere a circle of hands will open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of healing. A circle of friends. Some place where we can be free. Our second reading is Everything is Possible by Reverend Peter Fredericks. When we look at our lives, at the world around us, and consider the future, we have a tendency to sort our thoughts into categories. Is something real, or is it an illusion? Is it possible, or is it impossible? Could it have happened, or was it made up? Can we do it or not? In the story of the loaves and fishes, I would venture to guess many of you, upon hearing that story, thought to yourselves, that is impossible. It could never have happened. Obviously, I cannot prove to you that it happened just as it was reported in the Bible, nor would I try to convince you of the literal truth of the story. But what if we let go of that reaction of, did it happen or didn't it? Could it have happened or not? And suspended our disbelief? How would we hear the story differently if we simply lived in the possibility? Just like when we're trying to figure out how the magician does a trick, when we focus on the perceived reality of a situation, we miss out on the experience of the event and the meaning of the moment. Whether Jesus actually fed 5,000 hungry people with 5 loaves and 2 fish, or whether it was some grand illusion performed by a master magician, is irrelevant. The story of the loaves and the fishes is a story of victory of faith over fear. The disciples thought they would have a riot on their hands if they were unable to feed the hungry horde. They were convinced that the needs of the people far outstripped their resources and capabilities. Send them away, they urged Jesus. We're a bunch of fishermen in the middle of a desert, and we don't see a way out of this predicament. But Jesus showed them that it was their vision that was limited. He showed them that unknown possibilities exist beyond our knowing. The story of the loaves and the fishes is a lesson in moving from a mentality of scarcity, where we believe that there isn't enough to go around and many must inevitably go hungry, to an attitude of abundance, where all our needs will be met and where all things are possible. Today's sermon is excerpts from Loss of Vision by Reverend Joseph Boyd. Consider this. Turning points are rare opportunities. The disillusion of our deeply held beliefs, the questioning of our basic fundamental thrust through life, the doubt that we are instilled with suddenly and profoundly, is not something we would wish on anyone. These are all the characteristics of disillusionment. Disillusionment is not a rare occurrence. It happens to all of us at some point and can occur at every stage of life. The disillusionment of teenagers when they discover their parents are people and that society is not always just or fair. The disillusionment of those in their 20s when the job market is not kind and the future looks uncertain. The disillusionment of middle age when the life you've built does not feel like the life you hoped for, or at least not completely. The disillusionment of later years when current demands and circumstances cause you to question everything you've put faith in. This list is only scratching the surface. On top of these generalizations, we will most certainly encounter the particular disillusionment of unexpected emptiness or sense of loss, the particular and sudden feeling of disorientation and loss of direction. This is one of the most difficult moments and one of the most profound. It can give birth to depression and a feeling of being stuck. It can also be a turning point. There are people gathering in living rooms, gathering in churches, gathering in bars and coffee shops, all asking the same question. Where do we go from here? Religion is not just about church or denominations or clergy who wear stoles. Religion is what we hold to be true and worthy. It includes our personal narratives, stories of who we are and where we come from and where we're going. It includes our vision for civic, economic, and political life. It includes the beliefs that we've chosen intentionally and the beliefs we've taken for granted growing up in the time, place, and circumstances we found ourselves. It's a scary thing to lose our religion. It's a scary thing to experience a loss of vision and thus a loss of direction. It's actually unbearable to stay in that place of disillusionment. We were not meant to stay there. In the story in the Bible where Saul got to Damascus, did you notice how he got to Damascus after he temporarily lost his sight? People helped him. They literally carried him to Damascus. He arrived to Damascus in the dark, disoriented, unable to even see or identify the people who were helping him. He knew he was safe, but he was in unknown territory, in an unknown house, taken care of by unknown people. Many Christians will focus on the second part of this narrative, the part where Saul gains his vision, converts to Christianity, and begins his ministry. They focus on the transformation of Saul to Paul, a complete change of identity. But I find the first part of the narrative more compelling. I believe the change of identity is predicated on the thorough loss of identity, that a depth of vision only comes when you've been able to let go of illusion and risk disorientation. I'm more interested in the temporary loss of vision that comes suddenly without warning and only much later is seen for what it really is: grace, a gift, something that was given but not asked for. Disillusionment is not on most people's wish lists, but disillusionment is not a negative thing. One spiritual teacher told me, if you are disillusioned, it just means you were illusioned in the first place. That being said, disillusionment is also a real pain. It is deeply unsettling and breeds mistrust, fear, and the yearning for quick fixes. It is especially a pain if we wish we could go back to the way things were, or more accurately, to the way we thought things were. It will be tempting to find a someone or someones who will promise they can take us back to the dream, that place before awakening and clear seeing. I think it is better to lose our sense of direction rather than continue down a road we know will never fully deliver us. It is better to trust that this loss of vision is not a permanent condition, but a prerequisite for something more real and expansive. This is the time we're in, and make no mistake about it, it's a turning point. We are at a point where we are yearning for a collective vision that is more real, more worthy than the one we've been given. Instead of being sent out in the world to persecute like Saul, I think we're being asked to convert to a way of life that notices all the people that surround us, full of disillusionment, stuck in the road. It is a way of life that in humility says, I don't know the full and complete answer, but I do know this: you need sanctuary. Here, let me help you get there, because I need it too. Turning points are rare opportunities. They are opportunities to move forward in a way that we've never before considered. It is a time for tenderness and solidarity. In that tenderness and solidarity, we will find our religion. I, Carol, have never inserted my own thoughts into the middle of the services that are comprised of Touchstone's resources. However, I did want to say that these excerpts really spoke to me. None of us expected COVID this year. I didn't expect my life to be shut down over a weekend. I did not expect this turning point to be thrust on me. But I do believe we have been granted a rare opportunity to move forward in a way we never before considered. And I believe that when we come back together, we will move forward in a way that is unlike before. Because a lesson I've been taught again and again in my life is that you cannot go back. I want you to ponder, while we are physically apart, what will this way forward look like when we come back together? I am now going to read the chalice extinguishing and extinguish the chalice in front of me. If you have a chalice or candle at home, feel free to extinguish it as well. It is our work, shared with each other in covenant, that creates and sustains this beloved community. We extinguish this chalice, but its light lives on, in the directions we've chosen today. The light of this faith lives on in us, together, in our hearts, minds, bodies, and spirits. Amen, and blessed be. And now, closing words for hard times, by Maureen Killeran. No matter how weak or frightened we may feel, We each have gifts that can make a difference in the world. In this coming week, may you do at least one thing to support the broken, to welcome the stranger, to celebrate what is worthy, to do the work of justice and love. Be strong, be connected. Each day act, so you may be a little more whole. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.